Hi there, this is Carrie from Stamp with CT. Good morning, happy Wednesday. Hope you're doing well this morning. I'm excited to have you here with me to craft and connect for a few minutes. So if you are joining live, please say hello. And if you're joining with the replay, please type in replay so I know you stopped by. And of course, if you're watching on YouTube, would love to see you hit that thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel. So thankful for each of you, and I appreciate you taking a few minutes out of your day. We are going to be creating a really pretty project today. I'm excited to share with you, and then I've got some awesome news from the Stampin' Up! World. It is always an exciting time to be a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and customer. Good morning, Donna. So glad that a couple of you are able to join me already this morning. So let's start with some awesome Stampin' Up! News. Many of you already know and have already placed an order this morning because the clearance rack has been updated with some awesome deals. So I know some of you have already snagged those. So good for you, and thank you so much for your purchase. I love when Stampin' Up! Updates the clearance rack. There's some great discounted product that is great to add to your craft stash. And then it's also the last day to register for my stamp class this Saturday. Hi, Judy. We will be using the Pretty Pumpkins bundle, and my stamp class is virtual again this month. So in my CT's Craft and Connect community group on Facebook is where the video tutorials will be. If you're not part of that group, I can pop a link in the description of the video when I finish up here. But we would love to have you join us. So if you are interested in getting the class packet, it is $20 or free with a minimum order. So a couple of you that even placed an order this morning, that qualifies you for your class packet. And I will be shipping those out so we can do that class on the 16th. And then the last announcement that's really exciting, if you love kits or if you love making tags, we have a brand new tag kit called Love Santa, and I believe it's 12. They're kind of oversized tags. They're super cute, and I will post a link to a video that our CEO, Sarah Douglas, did. And she's actually showing us how to create the tags. And then there's also an add-on that you can purchase cello bags that coordinate with the tags. So really excited about this new kit. Perfect time of year to be getting those type of things ready and planning out some of what we're going to use for the holidays. So perfect timing, Stampin' Up! Sounds like my clock is running behind again. Okay, let's get started crafting. We are using the Peaceful Place Designer Series paper today, and I just made a quick card using that paper, and I hope that the shininess is not going to distort the focus of the camera, but it is so easy to create beautiful cards when you have pretty Designer Series paper, quick and simple. So when Stampin' Up! First started sharing with us this type of Designer Series paper where you have the images upside down, I was kind of thrown off a little bit. Let me go ahead and show you some of the other papers in this. Let me move this just in case that's distorting the video. So this is the gorgeous Designer Series paper. It just has basic gray, smoky slate, basic black, and silver in the color palette, which is very striking. Beautiful paper. So super easy to make a beautiful project with this paper. Let's bring this back in. So as I was saying, I kind of was thrown off when Stampin' Up! First started including these types of Designer Series paper, and it's been a couple years now. But it is, once again, one of those things that I kind of overcomplicated. So easy to use this paper. So first thing you can do is just cut it in half. And so you've got a 6 by 12 piece of paper. You can get 3 card fronts So like this card front here is just cut down at 4 inches. So you would be able to cut it down to 5 1/4 by 4, and you would get 6 card fronts to do cards like this. Super, super simple and straightforward. Very quick and easy. So since it's 6 inches, you've got a little bit more room down here that you can work with. You could certainly stamp down here and cut off a little bit more from the top. You can add the sentiment like I did, but this just gives you lots of options. Also thinking about scrapbooking, I know a lot of us scrapbook or memory keep as well. If you cut this paper in half and you did your 2 12 by 12 layouts, you could easily add this to the bottom, and again, you could trim it down a little bit more if you wanted to. You could add your title at the top, add your pictures, and very quick and easily you would be done. Just a couple of embellishments, some journaling, you would be done. So it makes it very easy to create using these papers. Now this card is pretty, but of course we want to take it to the next level, right? So I created another card using the same paper, but cut it down a little bit more, and I added it to a card, kind of a card base layer, and used Vellum Cardstock to create this card. So it gets to show off a couple of pieces of designer series paper, and we're using vellum. So this really, really steps up our card making. Let me show you the supplies that I used. And of course, Oliver's barking, sorry y'all. So I've got the Perfectly Plaid stamp set. This is one that has carried over for a couple years now in our annual catalog. It's a great set to have, coordinates with that pine tree punch, and it's just super, super cute. It's got beautiful Merry Christmas sentiments. And then I'm using basic gray ink, which on a Christmas card, who would think you would use basic gray ink, but it's so pretty. I do have a list of measurements that I will post for you once the video is over, but I'll go ahead and tell them to you as we're going as well. So first I've got 2 pieces of basic gray cardstock. The first one is 5 1/2 by 4 1/4. That's going to be our card base. And then this is going to be the mat for the front, and it is 4 7/8 by 3 5/8. And then we've got a piece of Vellum Cardstock, and I love our vellum. It is not super flimsy. It's not super see-through. It's beautiful, thick vellum cardstock. So there is a huge difference between Stampin' Up! Vellum cardstock and other vellum that I've used in the past. But our vellum cardstock is 8 1/4 inches by 5 1/4 inches, and then I scored it at 4 1/8. So that's going to make the rest of our card base. Now you guys know that I love and always encourage you to use your bone folder to reinforce score lines. This is going to be the one time that I have an exception to that rule. Be super careful as you score your vellum, because if you press too hard, you can cut it instead, or you can actually kind of crack it. Same thing if you use your bone folder, you can actually crack that. So I'll show you in just a minute. We're just going to use our finger to fold that. And then I've got 2 pieces of designer series paper. They're exactly like what I used on that other card. They are 4 3/4 by 3 1/2 inches. Then we've got 1 piece of basic white cardstock. And I went ahead and used the thick basic white, and it is also 4 3/4 by 3 1/2. So let's kind of get organized here, move some things out of the way. The first thing that I think I want to do is go ahead and adhere this designer series paper that I want on the front on the mat that we've got. So I would encourage you on this to just do little circles of adhesive in the corners, not too close to the edges, and you'll see why as we work along. You don't want any of that glue kind of squishing out. We're doing a very small border with our basic gray mat on this cardstock. And what I love about this is it, for one thing, helps you add adhesive. Vellum, the one thing about using vellum is it's difficult to adhere where your adhesive does not show, or it can be. There's little tricks to that. But this will actually allow us to adhere this on and get that inside panel and no adhesive showing on our vellum. So let's go ahead and line this up and make sure that it's folded exactly. And we'll just use our finger to kind of press that score line. And again, I don't want to use a bone folder. I don't want to crush that. Okay, I think this is dry enough. We can go ahead and adhere. Now I'm trying to get back to using that way of adding my liquid glue again. I did that for quite some time, and then I got away from it, and it really does make a difference. Yeah, we're looking good. You don't need a lot of liquid glue, and I tend to overuse it if I don't do that little circle trick. Just a little circle of adhesive. Okay, so we want to get everything lined up. And then it looks like I may have made a mistake on my measurements when I cut this. Let me compare this. Yeah, this is a little bit too long. Let me see if I can get to my trimmer and fix this. It should be 5.5. Well, it may have been off just a tiny bit, not really though. And then this should be 4.25. Let me just double check. Something is out of whack, but we're gonna go ahead and go with it. Okay. So now what I want to do is come in, and you can see here where you can see that glue. And that's what I'm talking about. When you're using vellum cardstock, it can be a little bit hard to hide the adhesive. But because we've got that layer on the front, it's going to help us on the inside as well. So we're just going to line this up and make sure we are within that basic gray cardstock border. From both sides. So I like this because it gives you a chance to use 2 different designer series papers as well. So pretty. Just making sure I get everything lined up. It's pretty forgiving though, because this vellum cardstock is good thick cardstock. So not a lot does show through. I'm still getting really close to that edge though. I think that's pretty good. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is add our basic white panel to the inside. So this is where we can write our greeting. Now you could certainly stamp on that if you wanted to as well. And again, we're just going to work to get that centered the very best we can. I think we're doing pretty good. Now I will tell you that it does take a little bit for the glue to dry on the vellum, so you know, as you're working, be sure to allow ample time for that. Okay, now we are ready to add this to our card base, and again, keep your glue away from the edges. It does kind of smush out a little bit when you put some pressure to adhere it down, so just be careful. Yeah, I messed up something when I cut this, but I'll make sure that you guys have the correct measurements. We're just going to go with it. It's still going to turn out really pretty. It just doesn't have completely even borders. I think I made my vellum a little bit bigger on this one, and that's okay. Just have more of a border at top and bottom. I may have forgotten to trim that vellum down. So that's super pretty, isn't it? I just love this. I just think it really adds a lot and kind of steps things up. Okay, let's take a look at the embellishments in this suite. Now, I don't have this stamp set or die set. It's amazing, but again, I can't get everything like I would love to. I'm trying to get this ribbon to come out. But the paper is just fabulous. And of course, with our paper share that we do with each new catalog, that's how I get all of the papers because I'm one of the participants as well. Now we do have this 3/8 inch glittered ribbon. I believe this may be on back order right now, but it's so, so pretty, so shiny. There are also some subtle sequins, and they are fabulous and shiny. Now on my sample here, I did add some sequins to the inside with that cabin paper. Just add a little bit of sparkle. It kind of catches the light because they're flat. Thought that was a good place to use those. You could certainly put them on the outside as well, but I wanted the paper to really shine. So I'm going to add my sentiment, and I went ahead and stamped that, and I used, oh gosh, seasonal labels dies to cut this out. So let's grab a couple of dimensionals. Not really sure if I'm going to add some ribbon to this one or not. I may. I just think that adds a little bit more sparkle. And y'all know, shiny is my favorite color, so I am not ashamed to just keep putting on more shiny. I think this time what I'll do is run that ribbon just right across there, across our DSP. I may need to trim it a little bit more here in a minute, but we'll see. Actually, I think that's going to be pretty good. Just cut that end at an angle. So let's take a look too. These are the 3 pieces that I cut, from that half sheet of paper. So you're going to get a little bit different look as far as where your trees fall on the paper when you cut it. So this one, we've got our sentiment here. This one is going to kind of lend itself to putting the sentiment in the center, I think, a little bit more. So let's, not actually, I think what I want to do is use a little bit of Stampin' Seal Plus and encourage this ribbon to lay down. And it's just going to be a small border coming from either side of the sentiment. And I've got it upside down because I just tend to be able to add my sentiment straight if I've got it upside down. May actually bring that all the way to the top of the card. I think I like that. So just a little piece of ribbon to add just a little bit more sparkle. And you could certainly come in with some basic rhinestones. That would be really, really pretty. Just to add a little bit more shine. You can leave it just like it is. So there's lots of options that you can do to add embellishments if you want to. But again, this paper, it just really does not need it. It's just so very pretty. So there's our projects for today. And I hope that that will encourage you to get out some of those sheets of designer series paper that have those images that are kind of upside down, and just cut that paper in half and use them for card fronts. I find that many times these papers have foiling and they're just absolutely beautiful, and it makes it so easy to do some craft projects with. Okay, let's show some happy mail. I have some happy mail. I actually had some last week that I forgot to show you guys, so I'm sorry about that. So first up, I have this sweet card from my friend Baby Ruth. She made us a calendar, one of those little mini calendars that stands up on your desk. I use it at work every day, and so she sent us a replacement calendar for next year and included it with this little card. So super cute. Thank you, Baby Ruth. I just love this card. And then Dale and I got an anniversary card from LaDonna and Brian, my besties. And this is really, really pretty, and she included a little gift card for our anniversary. We need to go out to dinner and use that card, but thank you, LaDonna. It's beautiful. I love it. And then last, I got this little piece of mail. Now look how interesting this is, from my friend Lisa Tweedle, and it is a beautiful project. Let me see if I can get to the tail of the ribbon using the hydrangea. So look at this, you guys. It is absolutely amazing. It's beautiful. Such a neat fold. I don't know that I've ever seen a fold like this before, but she used the beautiful hydrangea paper, and I just love everything about this card. It's absolutely amazing. So thank you, Lisa. I have enjoyed this, and I've probably opened and closed it a multitude of times because it's just so exciting and beautiful. Okay, let's talk about our prizes. Oops, I may have grabbed the wrong thing. Let me look in my basket. I can't remember what our prize was from last week. I've got a basket of stuff over here. Well, I may have to go back and see what our prize was, because I just don't remember. But I do have a winner for it, and it is Aura Murray. So congratulations, my friend. When I figure out what our prize was from last week, I'll be sending it to you. Sorry about that, y'all. And then this week, I'm giving away a bolt of the black and white gingham ribbon. This ribbon has been on back order and hard to get your hands on because it is super, super popular. So this will be our giveaway for this week. All you have to do to be entered for a chance to win is leave a comment, like, or react to this video. Send up a heart right quick. I would appreciate it. Or you can share the video too if you know someone that may enjoy this project. So that's how you're entered for a chance to win, and I will draw a winner through random number generator next week, and that will be the winner of that ribbon. So don't forget, we've got a new kit that's available. We've got the clearance rack refresh, and we have stamp class registration deadline today. I'll see you back next Wednesday, and I was so thankful. You know, Facebook was down Monday most of the day, so I sure was thankful that we do our Facebook Live video on Wednesdays instead of Mondays. Catch you guys next week. Thanks so much.